on to 98%.
It's no problem for my sister, you know.
So we've been friends for how long?
About 10 years. We met, you know.
On the track?
Oh yeah, during the time she was big time. I was just you know, pretty much no name, but yeah, we've been cool. I think my senior year, we've been friends ever since. So
been friends since senior year of high school.
Yep, 10 years.
Long time coming.
Now we out here flourishing, man.
Flourishing. So I'm just gonna lay down the context of 98%. So 98% stems from one statistic that only 2% of collegiate athletes go pro. So what happens to the other 98%? I mean, we're literally just walking around this earth, doing our everyday lives, at work or at the gym, playing ball with whomever. And nobody truly knows our story. Nobody knows what we've accomplished in our young adult years. And Shaquille, your story really strikes me. I mean, the fact that I've known you for so long, I know so many different aspects about you, but there are elements to your story that I'd love for the other 98% to hear. I'd like for you to share kind of where you went after high school, what college you went to, and kind of your journey.
Well, I'm an inner city kid. I'm from Chicago, so coming down to Texas, it was a little slower, but then switching it to Fremont, Nebraska. You know, once I graduated, I went to a D2 school. It's called Midland. I think they're NAIA now. But during the time when I was there, they was a Division II. And
so what was that transition for you like, going from Texas to Nebraska? But I know, knowing that you from Chicago, so it wasn't even like
it wasn't too
was
bad.
Was it like home?
Nah, it was a whole bunch of cornfields. Man, you ain't seen no cornfields. I seen cotton, all the type of stuff. So it was cool though. But it took a little minute to get to. Like the weather, I felt like for the most part was reminding me of Chicago. I guess being in Texas, you get kind of used to, and you know, the weather. So being in Nebraska, it was very cold. It was different. The people was different. The whole scenery, I'll say, you know, like I said, Chicago's fast paced. Texas, Dallas is kind of fast paced. But when you in a slow town, it's eye opening. Some things that you probably will never see.
I know. I for sure, when I was getting recruited and I was getting letters from any school from the north where it snowed, I threw it in the trash. So
man, I'm telling you, no, for real. Go to a school on the West Coast where it's hot or something, man. When they get cold in that wintertime, you're gonna be wearing beanies and big jackets and everything else. But for the most part though, is like I said, it was different. And I think I adjusted fairly quick, I would say.
So what was that transition for you, like from high school to college sports? How was the training like? How were your coaches?
Oh, the training was more intense. You know, in high school, you go to practice. I mean, I don't know if y'all practice, you know, in the morning, but for my school in high school, we practiced at, it was like the last period. So in college, you know, you got to work out in the morning, you got to get there at a certain time. So the transition for me, it was cool. You know, and like I said, I was wasn't following the rules, it's more so me, but like I said, I know we had the tutoring, we had the, you know, like in the training wise and everything, it was very intense. I was not used to it. And I kind of came in with that mentality like, oh, I'm the best. Like coming from, you know, I'm the best. So I wasn't really pushing myself to the heights that I felt like I could have probably had reached. Yeah. But the practice and the coaching staff was cool. They embraced me. They showed nothing but love, the whole school, the community. But I would say the biggest thing, like I said, was practice and the dedication, because nobody gonna come find you, showing practice on you if you want to be, you know, better.
So did you attend every practice?
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. I played hooky a couple times. I ain't gonna lie. I was sick though. A couple times. I said I was sick. But for the most part, it was. I did not. Well, I did go to practice, then I didn't. You know, and then like when I got to practice, I wasn't going to my full or maximum potential. I was just barely making by, and I feel like those results showed early on in my college career.
So how important do you think discipline is when it comes from making that transition to high school to college?
Man, you got to be disciplined, because like I said, nobody's going to really, I feel like anybody going to really hold your hand. They're going to hold you accountable for all your actions. And so, you know, when you don't go to practice, you get extra work, or you have to do certain things, and which is nobody's fault but your fault. So, you know, you just got to want it for yourself. When you don't want it for yourself, you're just wasting everybody's time, you know, and because in the track, for me, it is an individual sport, but you know, you got teammates counting on you, your
Yeah.
family, you know, that's helping you, sending you money, and then you're not going to practice or you're not doing nothing. So it's just wasting everybody's time. So you really got to be disciplined and diligent about getting to practice and putting in the work, because that's going to show ultimately when it's time to compete.
Right. So we're going to come back to the art of discipline
Right.
when we get into your story a little bit further, just because I know you.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to tell all your secrets. So after Nebraska, I know you transferred. So where did you transfer back to?
Well, it got a little rough. You know, I'm gonna tell y'all some of the story. I got to Angelo State, and that's in San Angelo. That's West Texas, kind of by Abilene. If you guys not for sure where that at. And from that point, I just already had like said in my mind, I really didn't want to compete no more.
Yeah.
And you know, so I just kind of left it alone. And from that point, I was a normie, as most, you know, I wasn't an athlete no more, so I had to buckle down and get on my grades. So
I remember having those conversations with you when you said you didn't want to run anymore, and I think you were on scholarship at Nebraska, and San Angelo was giving you. Were they giving you a scholarship?
They were trying to give me, and that's part of the reason why I quit too. They wasn't really trying to give me. I mean, because I wasn't on full at Nebraska. I mean, when I was at Midland in Nebraska, so I wasn't on full, but I was at least trying to get compensation. I mean, at least the same amount of money I was getting from. They were trying to give me something like barely anything, and for me, I was like, nah, I'm not gonna put my body and all that.
All that stress for no reason.
For nothing. Yeah, and I'm still coming out of pocket, struggling, trying to pay tuition and things like that. So.
And even like when you don't have the love for the sport anmore, it's kind of hard to, especially when
motivate yourself. Honestly, like without that love for that, man, you'll just be going through the motions, just going through the the whole going with the wind. Honestly, you know, because you don't have that motivation. Oh, I want to be the best. Like so honestly, most people know me basketball. I really, that was really my thing. If I probably would have got a basketball, I probably have been still playing ball, and she know I'll still be in the league. I know I'll be in the league getting buckets, but
oh my goodness.
But track wasn't something that I felt like I truly loved, but it just did something. It took my mind off what was going on. My environment took me off. Just it just gave me another outlook on life that. What I was accustomed to, that kind of helped me just break that mold, break that cycle. And so positive things, it did help me in the long run to where I'm at now.
So basically you're saying that after you decided to quit track, basketball was an outlet for you.
Yeah, for me, just meeting different, and I met lifelong friends that I call, my brothers or whatever. So, of course, I became a rec player, I became a rec player though, but people don't know, but at Angelo, the coach was trying to, he kind of wanted me to play, but for the most part, I was just like a rec player, but like I said, that helped me just with my frustration, go put up shots. Like I said, I met different people, and that wasn't the end for me. I feel like sports-wise, it still kept me active and going.
And so I think another thing that's really important to mention is that depending on how your career ends, I think a lot of athletes go one of two ways. Either one, they stay active, playing a sport, either like intramural or joining like a club team or something like that. And athletes who decide to just leave sports alone completely. And I was one of those that kind of just walked away from everything athletic. I couldn't watch sports. I couldn't play it. I really didn't care to after I medically retired. So it's really interesting to me to hear other athletes, former athletes, talk about how they use sports as an outlet,
right?
To kind of cope with that transition.
What's going on? Yeah, and that was kind of for me too. Growing up, like I said, in a rough environment, kind of that was just me, just staying out the way. I just feel like, God Himself, He just put that on me, and I took it and ran with it, and like I said, ultimately it made me a better person. Obviously, she could tell you our friendship, and she's been there as well, but it just helped me take my mind off what was going on in the world, what was going on in my community, family issues, and it just brought the best out of me. And I feel like when I was playing sports, I was the happiest. I was in my prime, man, and none could tell me nothing. So for that to leave, it was just like, dang, it's just, it's over, you know what I mean? But that don't have to be, you know what I mean, like how your story ends when it comes to sports, whatever.
So how important is having a support system
Oh man, that go a long way, man. Like I said, that go a long way. I should say in high school, I think my mom probably never missed a track meet, never missed a ball game, you know. So going somewhere far and not really like physically for her being there, it did a little something, but it was just every meet I get a call, I get a text, and it was just uplifting for me. You know what I mean? Because I was in a bad headspace at the time, but it was like it was still, you know, not her, my sister. I call my sister. I had real close friends just checking in on me and seeing how things and just to touch base. So support system goes a long way because you don't know what somebody might be going through, and it's just that like simple good luck or how'd you do, man. That it breaks the ice, and then everything else will start just falling, start pouring. So, but I think when you don't have that, you don't have no hope. You just feel like, man, I don't care what happened. I don't, you know, and that's not the way to go about, I feel like, life or things in general.
So, you know, now you're done with track. You've been done with track for a long time. Like, what was your first job right out of college? It was probably just anything.
I'm trying to think what I want to say it maybe was Walgreens, because I was at Walgreens for quite a while. I was the manager at the best manager at Walgreens I could be. But that I feel like Walgreens, man, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I didn't like it. I feel like, you know, when you graduate, you know, they hype you up. They tell you all these things. They feed you, oh yeah, you go to college, you get the best job, this and that. Like you know, you do the interns, and man, I was at Walgreens, man. That's just being, I was at Walgreens, and then I didn't like it, but I had to do something to put money in my pocket. You feel me? And but I was there for about 2 years until, you know, just something else, another opportunity came, and which along with, you know, the bank. But before then, like I know how being at Walgreens made me feel. I did not want to get up and go there. I did not want to do that.
Yeah, and it's hard when your school doesn't necessarily provide you resources to make that transition into the professional space. And at that point, you're like, hey, like I went and got this degree. They said if I have a degree, I can go anywhere, make X amount of money, and I'll be set. And then your first job is nothing like that.
I'm talking about nothing. I ain't afraid to tell. I was making $13.50 when I first got there.
I'm telling you, I was making what, $15 out of college, and I got the job through a temp agency. And I didn't ever think that I would say this on camera, but I didn't ever think I was gonna say. But I was in the car on the way to the temp agency crying to my mother like, hey, like I have this whole degree from UCLA and I cannot land a job. And I have to go through an agency to come in part-time as an employee just to land a job somewhere. Like, and I was living at home with my parents. So it wasn't, you know, like it wasn't like I was gonna get this job and then move into an apartment like I thought it was gonna happen, right? Like that's what you think is gonna happen. Like as soon as you graduate college, you
thinking you finna be
get
flourishing.
The nice apartment, the nice car, like none of that. No, it took time.
Right.
So I think that's really important for a lot of us to hear, is that like we have gone through the trenches, and now that we are where we are now, right? Like right now we are in our mid-20s, on our way to 30, and we are beginning to flourish and truly seeing the fruits of our labor from when we were struggling a couple years ago. What we can do now to help athletes coming behind us is to help them find those resources that we didn't have back then.
Just kind of help them, put them in a better position than what we were, you know. So I mean, honestly, it's really all about, I mean, yeah, just because I feel like we took that, you know what I mean, and I feel like this is what's helping, like this is going to help other people, you know. Don't feel bad or discouraged or make you feel like you're not where you want to be, you know. It's everything's a process. It's baby steps, you know what I mean, but you got to keep getting up and look that person in the mirror and be like, this is not where it's, like your story's going to be told. And for me, I had to grab control of my mental first, because at first, this was going first. I'm like, man, this is over with. Like, I ain't graduated. I'm finna be at Walgreens. Like, how am I supposed to, like, that's what, but then when I felt like I had, and this come back to support, and I had the people support, like, nah, don't be thinking like that. Just, you know, God got something bigger and better for you. You just got to stay the course. And that happened, and then I got in banking, and I actually like it. You know, I got in banking, and I thought it was gonna low ball me at the beginning of banking, but I came in at it's something like I felt like I should have been getting paid from the jump, but honestly, I feel like me working at Walgreens, I wouldn't change it because I feel like I appreciate the top more. Like, you know what I mean? When we all eventually do make it, I feel like for me though, I'm appreciating more because I know where I was at and where I came from and my struggles. So I feel like, you know, that's just a part of my story. So, but I don't knock Walgreens, nothing like that. But I just already had in my mind in college when I had professors like, yeah, you know, you make this much, you can make this when you graduate here. When you make this. And the fact that it didn't, it just kind of hit me in my face because I feel like I was lied to. And it was like, dang, so I'm starting here, this is that. Man, my little brother was at main event making $11. And he didn't even go to no college. So I'm like, dang, like he making this much now. I went to school, so.
It's crazy what they say that you could do with the bachelor's. Like you have to go get your bachelor's to do X, Y, and Z. And it's partially true and not true. And you know what? Now things are changing. Bigger companies are starting to take away that degree requirement.
Right.
But let's not go there. What switched for you when you got into banking and you really started you liked it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what kind of qualities did you kind of pull from your previous life as an athlete into the banking industry?
Just being a leader, I feel like, you know, just discipline. You know, this is saying, even though I wasn't that much discipline, I was telling y'all before, but I feel like all that was just growth, you know what I mean? So I guess when I when I brought that sports mentality and background over to banking, it was just like, okay, show up on time. So the bank opened at 8, I'm there like 7:40. You know what I mean? Even though every job is like that, but before, if I never had the other money, I'm gonna show up at 7:55. You feel me? And it's not, you know, you don't always want to be pushing it, you know, when it gets on. So I feel like my discipline are pretty and competitive. You know, in banking, you got chase, you got this. It's all about being competitive. It's all about hitting your numbers because if you want to hit your numbers, you get bonuses. But you don't get no bonus, you're not hitting your numbers. So, like I said, I brought the discipline over, the competition. Just, you know, not the competition, but the competitiveness. And I brought that, and I was just like, leadership. Ain't even gonna lie, because I had people coming in under me, and I was kind of like 8 balls to go through. So I just had to be able to be patient, be a leader, lead by example, because they see me showing up late once again, oh, I'm doing this, I'm taking long lunches, then they can do it. So I feel like track prepares you for all that, for anything in life in general, because teamwork, that's another one. You know, also with the teamwork, you know, like I said, track is pretty much individual issue in the relay, but you still got a team, you know, you get points without basketball. So it's like for me, the teamwork coming into a bank, okay, this branch is like my work family, you know what I mean? So if one fall, we all fall, but, you know, just uplifting one another. We having a bad day or we don't make a sale or close, you know, don't get discouraged. Just know, like, you're going to get a lot of no's before you get yes. And some people come in with that mentality, like, I want it. But like I said, it's a step. So as me being a leader, it's my job to be like, hey, you know, it's okay that you don't have it all right then and there, you know what I mean? And, you know, because everybody not perfect, you know, but so it's just helping the younger generation that was coming after me that was trying to get in banking. And I had to tell them, like, oh, I'm going to tell them, like, bro, what? Even though I never was a teller because I had the degree, but I told them the same thing, bro, like, this is just a stepping stone, you know what I mean? And things are going to get better. And they was looking up to me like, you know, oh, you cool, this and that. But it was just, I'm telling them something that somebody else told me that I didn't see, you know what I mean? That I couldn't like see or whatever. So it just feels good bringing that sports background over to the corporate world. So
I'm cheesing so hard because I know where you've come from. Yeah. And I mean, we didn't even touch the surface with how far Shaquille has come, just to see his growth and your maturity and the discipline. To see where he's at right now, he's truly come a long way. So Shaquille, I know that when people hear your story, that they are gonna feel inspired by it. And even if you touch one person, you've done all that you can, right? Shaquille, I want to thank you for coming on to 98% and for sharing your story. No
problem, man. And man, she doing an incredible job, man. And for everybody who told their stories, man, I appreciate y'all and all y'all motivate me in some type of way. So I just want to say, man, just keep pushing, just keep on getting up, man, and God is going to make sure you walk the path, you know what I mean, that's in front of you that he set forth for you. So just keep going.
I'm so proud of you.
All right, man.